touch base with our co-host about how we're doing. We just have to discuss what took place in the Capitol building in Washington D.C., and we'll definitely get into that. But Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm well. It's been it was a long week. I don't know why it was just a long week. I started working out regularly. Got six good workouts in. Ate well, so my body it feels good, but it's just I'm sore, man. I'm sore. But I feel good. I think I'm on the right track, and hopefully that soreness turns into a little bit more energy for me. But everything's good, man. All is well.
Awesome, man. Jay, how are you?
Hey, you know what? Listen, I'm doing well. It did. You know what? The way I mentioned it, it felt like a long week, right? It was a long
Well, I
week.
think it was just a long week for everybody because
Just all the
just
things
all the
that's
outside
going on and stuff like
circumstances.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good. I'm doing good. Yesterday was my daughter's birthday,
Happy
so
birthday.
we appreciate that. Happy birthday, Ray Ray. So we had a good time yesterday, and just spending time with family. It's always like it's like soup when you don't feel well. You know what I'm saying? It's good for the body, man. So so did that. I was able to celebrate with her, and good work week. Excited for the upcoming season and the things that we're trying to do, and just doing well, man. Just continue to be praying for the country, praying that we all stay corona free, but doing well, bro.
Absolutely, and just to kind of go off of what you just said about praying for the country, and what took place on Wednesday was an absolutely historic day, like I said, for the country, for the world to watch the biggest country in the world be at such unrest that day, and I know personally for me, it was scary. It was very scary because I mean we have so much going on right now, with coronavirus, with trying to just kind of push through and maintain to have an incident like that, to turn on the television and watch something that I've only seen in movies happening live was just so overwhelming and scary. And my thought wasn't just on this incident, was is this the jumping off point for bigger incidents, and is this going to carry over for more situations? And that's what I was looking at it. And so even though it did happen and it was horrendous, I was glad that it didn't. Well, so far didn't escalate even further. But I thought that day, and I thought on Wednesday when we were watching it, we were going to end up watching something that was like an ongoing. I'm talking days and days of you know people really at the Capitol building and holding people hostage. And so the fact that I know people were hurt, and prayers to all those out there. I know someone that they did lose their lives, but the fact that it was able to end when it did, but everyone has a lot of thoughts on it. I'm just so scared right now as an individual of this country of like that the fact that that was able to take place and that was able to happen. I know you guys got a lot of strong feelings on it, and I'll let you share it. Coach, what are your thoughts?
It was like watching it was like watching a movie. It was kind of like unbelievable.
There was the movie Olympus Has Fallen. I thought I was watching that live.
Like, and I text my dad, and I don't really get like I don't get into the. I try to just keep my thoughts to myself because I don't feel like hearing people like say crazy things and get me upset. But I text my dad, and I was like, "This is insane!" Like, and I guess the insane part to me was how this was like just how this was actually able
How was
to
it
happen.
Yes, that was the scariest part.
And then even more scary, I guess, to me is how it was planned.
It was
It wasn't
absolutely-
like it
yeah.
was some like it wasn't like it was a gathering, a protest, and then everything just got kind of out of hand, and they were like, "Let's go!" No, 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 no. They had shirts made that said, "Yo, this is what we did on this day," but they were wearing them that day. And they had, guys tweeting out in December, "Hey, don't be surprised when we take over the Capitol on January 6th." Like, so it's scary, it's crazy, but then you think about it, is it a surprise?
No.
No. So that's why I guess what's even more scary about it. So.
It's not. With everything that's going on, it's not. But the fact that that got to that level to me, I didn't think it would ever get to that level where, where the Capitol building was taken over.
Right.
It's like wow. I mean, we had a lot of incidents take place. We had, a leader who really string up a lot of controversy and spewed a lot of awful things to this country. But to see that happen and to see the Capitol building take over, and you know, we have to talk about this on this show, even though, and talk about what's going on because it did impact everybody else, even in the sports world. We saw reactions from all over. We saw reactions from Doc Rivers, we saw reactions from LeBron James, everybody. And, but to me, it was just so scary because I think about to myself that was able to happen because it was inside help. And it was able to happen because if this wasn't something that wasn't planned, like you said, Marcus, and where people on the inside knew about it, it wouldn't have escalated to that level. And it's just so scary. And I think it makes the changes and things moving forward, something that people can say, okay, hopefully we are moving towards better things. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Um, and I laugh because I gotta be you always gotta be mindful of your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes they always say it's always best to keep your thoughts to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you share amongst close family members, but particularly in the position that I'm in right now, and being I guess whatever it is. You have to be mindful. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to offend anybody with my comments. But I will say this. He said, what did he say? Stand down and stand by. And they were standing down and standing by for January 6th. So, was it a surprise? No. Am I scared? I mean, no, not really. I mean, it's like, I mean, to me, you got to understand my position, you know what I'm saying, as a African American, as a black man, right? So, that to me is like, okay, there's always a difference in between, the different cultures that could do different things. So, is it surprising that they were able to just start walk in there like it's like a Dairy Queen or a Burger King and to do whatever they wanted to do? That's not a surprise to me. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I was working from home, and Jim Acosta was talking about something because I guess they were starting. So I had that on, and I was doing my work, and they started talking about how they were objecting. I think to Arizona. I think Arizona was the first state that they objected to. So then they, after Money Making Mitch made his little speech, and they were all walking into like private session or whatever they was doing, and somebody said, "Oh, no, we gotta go. I said, "Well, what's going on?" And next thing I know, I said, "Look at they out there like Spider-Man, scaling the wall. What the hell is going on?"
It was unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it. And the fact that, like, if all you have to do to understand what happens in this country between the difference on how cultures are treated, all you gotta do is look at the dude with his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk. That's all you gotta do. And then compare that to my man walking around the car, going in the car where his kids was to getting shot 8 times. That's all you gotta do. And I'm gonna leave it right there for people's objectivity and also individual subjectivity.
Oh,
that's it.
Absolutely. And like I said, we all have different platforms that we are on, so we do.
Sure.
We have to be mindful.
Gotta be mindful.
Because and like I said, we share our own topics, we share our own thoughts. We've shared thoughts.
Absolutely.
Off camera.
Absolutely.
But I said I think that it's just something like I said we couldn't go without that being addressed because
it has to be.
One of the things I also thought about it that day, because sports has always been a platform and something that people always look towards as an escape. Even like you look at major events. I always look back to when 9/11 and the World Series game, which was like that coming together for America after 9/11. But I kind of thought to myself at that time, especially, do games continue that night, or do they postpone games? And I thought to myself that maybe that night the game should have been put on hold for a minute and just kind of taken a step back. I mean, I know they didn't, and I know that that's not what sports do. They still want to keep things going. They still want to keep things rolling. I just think that, and I want to get your guys' thoughts. I just thought that maybe that night sports should have been put on hold. So,
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I know everything that was in Washington got put on hold.
Right.
I know there was a college basketball game that was supposed to be played that didn't get played because of that. It's tough because at some point, yes, things should stop and we should reflect on what has happened. But at some point, for some people, that's an outlet that are
Yeah.
people that are
Exactly.
hurting. People
Right.
who might have, had a little bit more invested in what happened than we did. That might be an outlet for them just to sit down on the couch and watch the Lakers play the Clippers or whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a tough call. I think 9/11 and when everything shut down 9/11, and I think this is different because we
Oh,
were,
absolutely. It's
meaning,
not the same level.
well, no, meaning we were attacked.
Right,
In
right.
this, we are attacking ourselves.
Just self-inflicted. It's
Yeah.
a little
So-
different. Like even when they shut down, because of it was George Floyd, right? That was George Floyd that shut the basketball world down and
Yes.
stuff like that. That was something that was like an injustice.
Right.
That was a clear, public open murder. To be honest with you, but with this situation, this is almost like it's a disgrace, but it's like I think the people that voted for my man, I think they got to finally see what you voted for, in my opinion. And again, everything, and like I said, I have to be mindful
Yes.
that there are other people that have different opinions, and that's okay for me. Like I'm not here to try to convince anybody, nor do I want anybody to try to convince me. You know what I'm saying? Because God gave us our own eyes to be able to see, hear, and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that, you know what? To me, it was like, okay, now we could. I feel like now we could start having conversation because this is what you let in. So now, how do we stop having that happen again? And I think that's where you saw that point, but then you also saw, and if I step out of the sports realm to see where they was like, okay, well he just needs to go. I'm glad he's gonna be going in 2 weeks. He's not going anywhere, and they're not going anywhere. And that was like when we thought that was like the goodbye, that was almost like the real inauguration.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I will say. I mean, this, like I said, we gotta be mindful of what we say.
Sure.
But like I said, I do think that we're still gonna be moving forward, regardless with, the new regime and the new.
We have
new
no choice
movement.
but to move forward. We're always going to move forward.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's sometimes, moving forward is guaranteed, but it doesn't mean that it is an easy step to move
No,
forward.
and
And now it's getting it's going to be because 70 million people voted for him.
Yeah.
Right, and moving forward doesn't always mean you're leaving things behind.
Right.
Oh no,
Sometimes
you carry
you
it
can't.
forward.
it's going to be very challenging. I would
Yeah.
look. I was very happy though. Like I said, that we had sports on that day and there was something to look forward to. And I mean, there's still a lot of good. I mean, I know that, like Doc Rivers had, made his point and LeBron made his point and a lot of people spoke up and they let it be, say like this is hopefully this brings more light to what we've been trying to express for a long time.
Right.
So I think like at the same time we were talking about canceling sports. At the same time, a lot of the athletes, a lot of the coaches didn't want it to be canceled because they said, listen, we can piggyback off of this and just say, hey, listen, now do you hear us? Now do you see what's going on?
Right.
So that was another reason too that they wanted to see the games be played.
Right.
But we'll see. And
The lady, the thing about it is that and maybe I could be wrong with this statement, but I almost felt like the media were interviewing some of the people that were coming out of the Capitol,
Yes,
right? But it wasn't like they were like I don't want to say demoralizing them, but it wasn't like they were like criticizing them. It was almost like it was like a celebratory interview. It seemed to me, especially the one
You
lady.
just came off the court.
You just came off the court and you won something.
You just came out of the game.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The one lady, and my man was telling me about it, but at the time I didn't see it.
I think I know what lady is.
I didn't see it at
I think I
first.
know
He
what
was
it
like, yo, he said, yo, did you see this? I'm like, nah, I ain't see it. But then I happened to see it over this past weekend, right? Or the other day, yes, on Friday or Saturday. And the lady said, oh, I got mace. I got mace.
yeah. Listen,
It's
she's
a
that-
revolution.
she
We're
became
storming
a-
the
she became the star of the memes.
I said, yo, you know what? And they were interviewing her as if like she was like in a positive manner. And that's what I'm saying. See, it's stuff like that. It's the hidden languages that disturbed me. To be honest with you, that's what disturbs me. It's the hidden languages. You know what I'm saying? If you have any type of cognitive reasoning, some analyticalness, what do they call that in critical thinking skills, and you can understand the way that language is being, kind of manipulated a little bit. So that's the thing that's disturbing to me. But
Well, I mean, if you can't look at what happened on Wednesday, and see the bigger picture, then you're part of the problem and not part of the solution.
right.
And that's, I mean, and if you can't look at it and can't see what's wrong with what's being done, then, like I said, that's some self-reflection it needs to take,
Right.
But again, like you said, you're not going to change everybody. There's still a lot of opinions out there. And, we just try to keep doing what you do your part. What we always say, #do your part, and try to make the situation better. Do it, like we always talk about, do it within your circle, do it on a lower level, because every little circle that does their part will help expand it out to a bigger circle.
And it's doing your part, but also extending your reach too. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, it's like there's a lot of people that we have good conversations. We could talk, you know what I'm saying? Good conversations. But sometimes it's taking those conversations and putting that into action. And I think that's, once we do that, then we're able to, kind of like push the thing over and bringing everybody together. You know what I'm saying? Because there's differences. Differences are always going to remain. Okay? But this type of stuff, it shouldn't. And we should be working towards, resolving it. And now hopefully, it will do that. Sports brings everybody together. But at the same time, you know what? It brings them together to work for a common goal. But it don't change the intrinsicness or the moral fiber that you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was a Rangers player. He made some type of tweet or something like that was a disparaging tweet. And in my mind, I'm saying, like, yo, how can you say that in New York? Like, yo, like, wow, like, you lucky. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how New York wants to handle that.
You want to talk about players. I mean, you never go back years ago when John Rocker, remember John Rocker?
Right.
And the comments that he made about New York and things like that. And it's like, dude, like, you got guys on your team. Right. And you were putting yourself in between. So it's like, even in sports, you've seen that multiple times.
Right, because sports people that play sports are just still people.
They absolutely are.
They're still people.
Right. And like I said, if you ever plan, this is the public service announcement, if you ever plan on doing anything as a young, or in general, be careful what you say, when you say it, where you say it. Don't ever put anything out there you don't want people to see, because they will find it. Right. They will always find it.
But the majority, again, like I said, I think that, and that's a bigger conversation. And I'm not trying to touch on that really, but I could tell you like this. I'm taught from the sandbox to watch my words. I'm not sure if everybody's taught that, but I'm trained. And that's the thing. That's the disparaging thing. That's the thing that I think that people are trying to get off, is that we're all together. We're all free, but we're trained differently. We're reared differently. So I'm trained. Hey, listen. You know what? You want to be successful. If you want to survive, shut your mouth.
Well, I mean, like, I heard a good analogy. I heard a good analogy one time too. Was you're all traveling down the same road, but everyone has a different speed limit they have to go. And so
yeah. And everybody sees that road different. You know what I'm saying? So like, I got you. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
But like I said, any final words on that, Marcus? Before we...
No, I'm good. I mean, like I said, I don't. It's just another thing in our path that we're gonna have to deal with. That it's not going away, and we just got to keep trying to figure it out, having those conversations, and hopefully, coming from this side, it was a little more of an eye opener for those people who, were unsure or didn't see it, But we'll see, we will see.
And it's crazy though too, because we were all like, "Oh, 2021, 2020 can't be any worse than 2020." Right. And that's what we that's how we started.
I mean, yeah, and just to just to add to that, I mean, listen, this was a terrible negative event, but I have to believe, and I'm gonna go on the spiritual level, I have to believe that God uses the negatives to turn around positive. So even though this whole terrible thing happened, but it was exposed now, so it's in plain sight. Everybody to see, because think about it. When George Floyd got murdered, you know, it still was subjectiveness. Oh, well, what did he have? Oh, he had this, he had that, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can say
No, really.
about this.
No,
you
there's
had
not.
people scaling like Spider-Man, bro. I don't even know. I don't even know how that happens. How do you get past? That's a long walk from Washington Monument. Okay, I'm not sure what way they were going, but I'm just talking about. I was at the National Mall, I think, from Washington Monument to the Capitol. That's a long walk, right? So, and wherever they started from, like, that's like a federal district. You can't really jaywalk, you can't really pee in the bush down there without FBI and CIA. I mean, that whole thing is monitored. How does it happen? And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's the big question.
Right.
That is the big question. But like you said, hopefully we can use it as, another eye opener. That one that keeps the eyes open and not shy away. Keeps the eyes open. But like I said, with all that, and we had to open up, we had to discuss that and talk about it. But we can also now move over to the real reason we're here too, and that's sports. And we have some awesome NFL playoffs that took place. I know the games yesterday. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch them. But the Bills and Colts was a great game.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. I only caught the tail end of it. But
Yeah, it was. I don't like Phil Rivers. I
You know what?
He's not elite to me. He's like Kirk Cousins-ish. He's a step above Kirk Cousins.
To me, I think, and it's funny because I think Philip Rivers is so underrated. Actually,
I agree with that.
And I think that because the thing is, there is a level of, and this is going to be funny. This is something my one buddy always says to me that I love mediocrity and underdog, blah blah blah.
Sure.
But I think that Philip Rivers, through his whole career, has been an elite quarterback, but he's never been surrounded with the pieces to be elite. And he also was playing in AFC when he constantly was going against Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
Right.
Then it was Patrick Mahomes. Now you got a guy who, like I said, he went to a new team, still made his team a playoff team, had them down to the last drive yesterday. So, the fact that, please don't disrespect him.
and couldn't get it done. Down to the last drive and what do you call an elite quarterback? Somebody that's down to the last drive and couldn't get it
But here's the
done.
thing, though. He's got so much history of getting it done for the other teams. Like, you got to talk about...
What history? The Chargers never won a damn thing.
Phil Rivers is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. He's a hands-down Hall of Famer. First ballot. He's a ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree. I agree.
So then you would say that him and McNabb.
Oh, I knew it. Well, no, but actually, that's
Come
actually
on.
a great comparison.
Hell yeah, it's a great comparison.
He has better numbers than McNabb. McNabb has won more, meaning all those NFC championship games, all that.
Sure.
Philip Rivers hasn't made it that far. But if you look at his stats are way better than McNabb's.
Okay.
Well, they are, but I
Okay.
think that too. That, like I said, you
Okay.
can't. Donovan and Phillip. I think that first name basis, both of them. Was that, I think
they
that
got a picture of you in rough, huh?
they did. But I think actually everyone would take Philip Rivers over Donovan McNabb. Probably 9 out of 10 times.
No, well, I wouldn't.
Wow.
I mean, what? Wait,
But the thing is, Donovan won because of the team around him. People
Yeah,
forget
well,
about
see,
that.
somebody has to call you out on this.
Okay, call me out.
Okay,
on what?
wait, because wait a minute.
Donovan didn't have a wide receiver until he got T.O.
No, but he also had a defense that was so good.
Wait a minute.
He had running backs.
Wait.
I'm not taking don't get me wrong. I'm
Okay.
not taking away anything he did. Maybe I worded it wrong.
Okay.
But I'm saying is that he still played like Philip Rivers was never given a strong defense. Donovan McNabb.
They had LaDainian Thompson.
He has all
He's
offensive
right, but
weapons.
when you tell me two
Gates
quarterbacks,
was
you
Gates there
tell
too?
me in the
Come
NFC, right? That they should have gotten there because on the way to the NFC Championship game, for Donovan, and on the way to those division titles, they're not facing the Tom Brady. They're not
But
facing.
I hate that. I hate that argument because that's the same argument people lose for Jordan and LeBron because it's the same thing. But so he lost when he was supposed to lose. Philip Rivers lost when he was supposed to lose.
Period.
To Peyton Manning and to Tom
Right.
Brady. And McNabb lost it when he was supposed to lose. To whatever path you get there is the path you get there. To me, it's like whose numbers are better? Who puts up who do you want? Like it's the eye test.
In
like,
that
who do you
moment.
want? Like
Who you
and
want?
I don't even know the answer to this question. I haven't thought about it.
I'm gonna go with McNabb.
Until you guys brought up right
I mean,
now.
I never
I
sat
don't
here
know.
and I've
Yeah.
never debated Philip Rivers and Donovan McNabb, and I think.
But I'm saying that they're along the same lines. I
They
think.
are. They like if you say tiers of quarterbacks,
Yeah, right.
I think they're in the same tier.
The same tier,
But
right?
it's just a debate of is Rivers ahead of him on that tier?
No,
or
I
is
don't think.
Donovan
I think Rivers is in the tier, but barely in the tier.
But I think it's so hard to. I mean, it's hard to hate on Philip Rivers. Like he's
I'm
just
not hating on him. I'm just
he's
saying.
one of those good guys. Too.
No, he is, but-
Like you ever hear his mic'd up? They're hilarious because he doesn't
He is,
curse.
he is.
He doesn't curse at all.
Yeah.
So be like, gosh dang it, don't man. God,
but-
God, he's
yeah,
just he's great.
But
He's
I'm-
hilarious.
Yeah, but he's mic'd up. So I mean, he's performing.
No, he never curses.
No, I'm saying, but he's performing.
No,
You know?
outside in life, and his wife will tell you that too.
Oh.
He is a non-cursing, very spiritual man. God, and he was like, I don't, gosh
Yo,
dang,
listen.
it's like the worst thing he says.
Yo, listen. I saw somebody saying, listen, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. And sure enough, they wasn't done with the damn thing. So I'm not saying I don't know Philip Rivers. I don't know him. So
I just felt like the Chargers were that team that every year, like I said, they were like that second tier. And they
is
always,
this going to be the year? Could they do it? Could they this,
Yeah.
that? And sure enough, it was always the same result,
Yeah.
right? So you already knew what they was. I'm not saying he's not bad. I'm just saying that I knew on that last drive, it's like, he's not getting
well,
it.
also on top
He's
of
not
that
getting
too,
it done.
also on that last drive, I thought that the Colts kind of got screwed.
I agree with that.
Because there was that play after they got that one first down, then they came to the line, the questionable play that the Bills ended up challenging, but the Bills didn't get that challenge off in time, if you ask me, and the Colts were able to complete another like 12, 13-yard pass.
Oh, and they brought it back.
And brought that back.
Right.
And
That's
that was
true.
a big difference.
Right, that's true.
So if you ask me, the Colts kind of, and that's part of the game.
Right.
But I thought in that last drive that the Colts got screwed a little bit.
That's funny though. I mean, and this is kind of jumping sports, but we saw 2 plays like that. Was that back to back days or the same day? Did y'all see the thing with Darryl Walker, the coach? Where who was he coaching? I forgot who they coaches, but there was the last play of the game and then the lights went out. Then they missed the shot and they called the game over. And Darryl Walker on the sideline like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, nah, do the play over. They like, nope, it's over. They almost had to
I
get
didn't
police
see
to
that.
escort
I
him
didn't see
out.
that.
Oh yeah, check that
I
out.
didn't see that.
You know what I mean? But no, they got screwed or whatever. And hey, listen. But at the same time, be honest with you, I just don't have that confidence in him in that last minute like that. Like I tell you what, him or Fitz.
Who?
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick? I would never. I mean,
So in that moment,
In that moment.
so I would probably take Fitzpatrick in that moment. But hold on, I want every other drive the whole season. I want Philip Rivers.
Okay. That's fair.
Fitz got the Fitz magic.
Yeah, he just figures it out. Right?
He's got the
he
Fitz
just
magic.
goes out and balls.
Right.
He does. I mean, that.
It's like a gene, right? It's a clutch gene.
It's a clutch, and that's what it is. Because and we've all played sports. You either want to be in that moment, or you
Or
don't
you
want
don't
to
wanna
be
be
in that moment. You want to take the shot. You want that at bat. You want the ball hit to you.
That's
You
it.
want, whatever it is. If you don't want, I would say, if you don't want it at that moment, then I don't ever want you on the field.
Right.
Because people, and that's always been my argument. Even like when I was coaching or playing, like
Right.
people don't realize like that play in the top of the first or that play in the first quarter
Right.
could actually be the game-changing play.
Right.
Now,
Now-
so
And we got another coach coming on too. But I'm gonna ask him too. But I want to ask you, Coach, is that something that's developed or that's born, innate?
I mean, and that's what I was just about to say. I think you have some guys who, and I think this gets overlooked some. You have some guys who want to be in that situation,
Sure.
but they fail.
Right.
So
And that's okay for me.
you know what I mean? So I think that gets, and you have guys, and my mind goes to the NBA a lot. You have guys who miss, game-winning shots, and they get criticized.
Right.
But it's like, yo, like he had 45 and 10.
Right, he's still
he missed
getting
one
busy.
shot.
Right, right.
Like,
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean?
Here we
But
go.
you know, but I think some guys are naturally just want it, and that's their mentality. But I think there are some guys who are molded into that through confidence, where their team needs them to be that guy, and they may not be ready for it.
Not yet,
And
right.
then, so they have to do it one time, they have to do it a second time, but then
Right.
then it's like, oh, I can do this, and then they win.
I mean, LeBron was that way.
I agree.
I think LeBron was.
agree.
I think LeBron had to grow into that. Where MJ, I think it came automatic.
I agree.
Then you always have the guy that's got like the magic moment that you never would expect. Like, what was it, Archie Diacono? Or Archie,
Oh,
that's his name?
Archie Diacono.
Yeah, who hit the
Right.
shot for Villanova.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I mean, he
yeah,
just
yeah.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he did.
You know,
he did.
So,
but
so Jonesy3432 on YouTube asks, is Josh Allen a top 5 quarterback?
you know what, Jonesy, and that's shout out to Jonesy.
My man Jones.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I was actually going to talk about Josh Allen in this game, and I am such a Josh Allen fan. I think he's quickly driving up those ranks. And if you wanted to tell me that he's a top 5 quarterback, especially based on this season, I would agree with that. I mean, I think he really is. I think because him, for me, he's got all the intangibles. He can throw, he can run, but he's a team leader. And you look at the way that the Bills have responded to him, and you can always tell how much of a leader a quarterback is by how the defense responds to the quarterback. Because a lot of times the defense and the offense are two like separate entities. It's like the
You know the way I think.
here we go.
You already know.
This is not what we're
I
discussing.
really thought
He thought he was gonna skate by, right?
A whole show.
Nope.
without it.
But this is not what we're discussing
I was
today.
hoping we were gonna
We
make-
are broadening our horizons
No,
today to discuss
no, okay,
national.
but that's all right.
We are local
That's right,
and
that's
national
right,
sports
okay.
topics.
That's right. No Carson today.
No,
I leave Carson alone.
Carson, he's taking his time.
Right.
But I know where you're going with that. But I agree.
No, that's
and
what
I'll give
I'm
you.
saying.
Listen. I'll let you have your moment to
No,
respond.
I'm not. You know what? I'm
But-
not. Because you know what? Hey, listen. Because I know if I go there, then I'm setting myself up for because Coach was saying something about guys score like 40-something, whatever, but then misses that shot, right? So I kind of felt like if I'm analytical about it, I'm like, yo, that's kind of like James Harden a little bit, right?
Like, it's funny how people, when you say something, I wasn't even thinking that.
No, but I'm always aware.
Okay, let's get,
I'm
let's-
always aware.
First of all, to get back to what Jonesy said, though, I think that Josh Allen right now has to be considered a top 5 quarterback. I mean,
Okay.
because like I said, you got. I mean,
New York,
basically right now in the league, you got the Patrick Mahomes. You got what was that?
I said New York, baby.
Oh, I know. Believe me, this guy Buffalo. I mean, let me
just
tell you.
saying,
Let me tell you,
man.
if the University of Rochester makes it to the NCAA
Yo,
final, he's going to be
I'm
like,
rooting for
oh
him.
yeah, that's
You
right.
should have
New
to
York.
clarify. You should have to say New York State. You should have to clarify it.
But no. But it's in New York.
I know.
Right.
Correct.
But
But
you should
listen,
have to say New York State.
Okay.
But listen,
All right,
so
listen.
the Bills.
Clarify.
But here's the thing,
Don't
though,
make me feel bad.
with Josh Allen, though, I think he's quickly rising up the ranks, and like I said, I mean, as he's rising, guys are falling, and like that, and I'm going to kind of move to that other game too, and you can talk about Allen because I kind of think that we saw a little bit of the little bit of Russell Wilson get falling down yesterday in the Seahawks-Rams game. The Rams were unbelievable. And Russell was good, but you started to see a little bit of that regression yesterday. But, I mean, my final thing is I think Josh Allen, I know everyone wants to give that MVP to Patrick Mahomes, or, some people want to give it to Derrick Henry, but my vote would be for Josh Allen because without the Bills, I think that they would, without Josh Allen, I don't think the Bills would be anywhere where they are right now, which the argument could be said for Mahomes and for Henry. I just think that the way that Allen elevated his game and has taken it to another level, which, I mean, then you could say, he's the most improved, but I really think that you can make a strong argument for him being the MVP.
It's his
of the league.
first year, second year, or third year.
No, Josh Allen, this is his, I want to say it's his
He's with
third
Sam
season.
Darnold, right? He was in that draft?
Yes.
So I think
His
it's
third year.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So, well, what's your Jonesy think now? I don't know what Jonesy thinks. So let us know what you think, Jonesy, about him
Yeah.
being a top 5 quarterback. I mean,
But I'm glad to see him in the third year, still getting busy. He hasn't had no injuries, right?
He may have his rookie year, but I think that's
no, he did. But the thing is,
He bounced back. He showed resiliency.
They did. They did, and the resiliency is key. It's very
That's what I'm
key.
saying. Very key.
Yeah. So is having a healthy back. But anyway.
Oh,
you know, it's,
here we go.
so is a team, and that also goes back to in that if the team is built around you appropriately, then you can also
See,
succeed.
that's the thing that bothers me because about that statement because you just kind of like criticize McNabb because he was kind of good because of the pieces around him. Now I'm confused because I'm like, wait a minute. Now, so if the pieces around him good, is that going to take away the credit from him? It shouldn't.
No.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I think it's the quarterback itself, the way that he plays, the way that he does his thing, that it's the moral fiber. It's what you got inside of you, man. Come on.
All right. Well, listen. I mean, look. We're not getting into that debate again.
That's right.
today.
Right.
But I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, like, I know we talked about Josh Allen a little bit. I mean,
So just to go back to Jonesy, Jonesy says he thinks he is a top 5 quarterback.
yeah, I think you can easily make that.
And he also, which I agree with, he says when you're talking about the MVP race, I think it's Aaron Rodgers this year.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? All due respect.
I would go with that.
Yeah.
I would
With
go
all
with
due
that.
respect, you're right, Jonesy. It's definitely Aaron
I would go with
Rodgers.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has the weapons,
Right.
but I think, and I think this is what makes kind of what you guys were just talking about, the difference in quarterbacks. I think Aaron Rodgers makes his weapons way better than they are.
That's
So-
what great players do, coach, right?
Right. So I think now don't get me wrong, he has some studs. I'm not saying he doesn't. He has studs on his team, but I think a lot of those guys are able to succeed because of what he brings them. And I think Josh Allen is on his way to doing the exact same
Like
thing.
a guy like
just
Marquez.
Patrick Mahomes does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think they're all. So I agree, but I think Aaron Rodgers is the MVP this year.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Like I said, I didn't even think about Aaron Rodgers. He's definitely the hands-down MVP, but he definitely is a top 5 quarterback. And like I was saying, like I said, I was talking about Russell Wilson and just kind of to move to the Rams-Seahawks game. I think the Rams defense is just unreal. Aaron Donald is a freak of nature. That front line is unbelievable. But I think yesterday you saw the start of the collapse of the Seahawks, and just the other teams like getting younger and getting better, and being able to kind of take over that. Like in NFC West, you see like now the Rams are the team to beat. Maybe the Cardinals are the team to beat if Kyle Murray stays healthy. But there was certain situations. Don't get me wrong. Russell Wilson had some amazing throws yesterday, amazing plays. But for me, I was like, man, I expected Russell to find a way to win this game because he always did in the past. So it was kind of like, is that the start of the decline? Which is, I mean, he's been doing it for years. But I kind of thought to myself, maybe he's starting to fall down. And you see that new rise of quarterbacks, the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes taking over those spots.
It's funny when you talk about the Rams defense first. When Aaron Donald, he got hurt for a couple plays, whatever. And to me, like he had like the head coach around him, a bunch of assistant coaches around him, the trainers, everybody was around him, like when he was on the sideline. And to me, that just shows me how important and good he is to that team. Because usually, especially in the NFL, when a guy gets hurt, he goes off the field and we just keep on playing. But he had like everybody, we need you.
Like, we can't keep playing without you.
Oh, I'm surprised they didn't call a timeout or something. But no, I agree. And I was watching. I think that's probably the game I watched the most of the 3 games. And I kept saying, okay, when is Russell gonna win this game? Like, when's he gonna do it? When's he gonna do it? And it didn't happen.
Like that pick 6 that he threw, which first of all, by the way, was an incredible play for that guy getting through that wide receiver screen.
Yeah.
But I was like, Russ doesn't do that.
That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, so
it's kind of one of those things where he's like, and it's like everybody said with the Patriots for a while. Is this the end? Is this, and Russell Wilson's getting a little older. It's the natural order of what happens. So we'll see. I mean, he didn't. He's not off. He didn't fall off. He's just
no. I mean, I'm still taking him.
It's just is this the decline of the team? And a lot of those guys they have are getting older.
They are.
And so.
I mean, like, I just like I said, I'm interested to see if the Rams. It was interesting that like with the I know that Jared Goff was hurt and he was just coming off surgery 2 weeks ago, but I mean he was able to make some throws. But it was interesting to me, and I feel bad for the guy that got hurt, Wolford, because he was doing his thing and he was doing all right, and that was his opportunity. And that was a guy that was, like I said, Jared Goff came in. He was still injured. I give him a lot of credit. But I kind of thought to myself, too, I know he came off the injury for 2 weeks, but even if you're 80%, wouldn't you rather go with your starter, your supposed starter at 80% than your backup who has no experience? And so that was kind of so. And you guys come. So my thought is like, are the Rams like really kind of, running out of faith in Jared Goff because he has been struggling. So
Or do they have faith
They can win the game.
in that we can still win this game? Because like you said, the other guy he was playing well.
Yeah.
So I think I hear what you're saying, and that makes sense. So I think in that situation, and McVay they say is one of the smartest coaches that we've ever had. So he must have trusted and felt good about where they were, and also probably knowing that if this doesn't go right, we can go to Jared. He's going to be able to play, but if we can steal another week out of him, let's try to do that. So maybe just knowing if Wolford didn't play well early, they could have got him out of there and still been in the
Play
game.
fair, because you got to think, and that must be a tough decision that he had to make, because you gotta win today to play tomorrow, but you got to think about tomorrow. At the same time, while you're playing today.
Oh yeah, I mean you always see
That's
that.
life, right?
Yeah.
Damn, that's life right
It
there.
is. You always see that. A lot of times it comes up to it is in baseball. You got like, oh, should we pitch our ace today? But we got to win today to get to tomorrow.
Right.
But listen, my winner of the day, even though he was a loser, was the Redskins quarterback Tyler Heineke.
He's tough.
This dude.
Oh, he's balling. I didn't watch the game.
Listen, this guy last year he was playing in the American Football Alliance.
Wow.
And this guy came out. Nobody gave the Redskins a fighting chance yesterday at all. I mean, I was like, oh, who's this Mr. Heineken playing? And let me tell you, this guy came out. And if you ask me, the Redskins, the Washington football team, does not have a quarterback next year, really. I mean, Alex Smith, everyone will pat him on the back and tell him it's amazing what he did. But I really think Alex Smith needs to hang it up and say, I accomplished my goal was to get back onto the field, and I did that. Because with Heineke, the Washington football team doesn't have a quarterback. And yesterday, if you ask me, I would be like, you know what? Let's go with you. At least earn an invite to training camp.
Oh yeah, he's definitely.
And you can compete for this job. But this guy came out here. He's going up against Tom Brady. He was making throws left and right. He was. I mean, some of the elusiveness he was showing was unreal. There was that one run. He looked like he was sacked, and he ended up missing the tacklers and running it in, diving from the 4-yard line into the end zone. But it was like I said, and you saw Chase Young out there congratulating him once again. When a defense is behind a quarterback, it's just it changes the whole game. But so my shout out, my winner of the day, even though he was a loser, was Tyler Heineke, because he was just. I love seeing guys get their opportunity like that and just ball out.
I think it was a good story. Unfortunate story for my man Taylor. You know what I'm saying, right? Because he was originally slated to start though, right?
Who?
We talking about the Washington quarterback, right?
Yeah.
What was my man?
Alex Smith was supposed to start in this.
Right, no. But what was the dude that was in the strip club?
Oh,
right,
Haskins.
I said Taylor. My bad. Yo, so
because there was Taylor. Yeah.
So you saw, if I'm thinking about Haskins, right? Because I'm like, wow, you know what? Listen, this should be a growth moment for you, because see, you could have really been in that game and maybe it made a difference. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I don't know, but immaturity, stuff like that. So he'll grow from that, but. Hey, listen, man.
They did say that he was going to get an interview with Carolina.
That's good. So that's a good thing. But I want to highlight what's the quarterback's name that was balling out yesterday? Heineke.
Yeah.
The resiliency to be able to come from. No, I'm just saying. No, the resiliency to be able to come from. What was he in the American Football League? And now he's in whoever knows what league he was in, right?
Yeah, he was playing backyard football basically.
But that's the resiliency that quarterbacks. Star elite people need. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I guess maybe there's some guys, and if you can think about it, maybe on the next show you can tell me some quarterbacks in the league that maybe need some work on that.
Sure.
Next show.
On the next show, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And maybe we could DM Carson and let him know.
I didn't say
it's all good. No, I mean, it's all good.
Like I said, but so those games yesterday, and I thought adding that extra wild card game, having 3 wild card games was awesome for the NFL. I mean, everyone was just interested, so interested. And I think it also was great because it made that number 1 seed this year that much more important. You know, I mean, and we got some great games today too. I
Right.
mean, you start off, you got the Ravens and Titans, so I think it's going to be an awesome game.
That's gonna be really good.
You know, then you got the Bears and Saints, which I mean, I kind of feel like everyone, if you got some chores to run and some errands to run, you can do it at the 4:30 game. 'Cause I don't
Right.
really see the Bears and Saints being good, but I'm interested to see how they play because the Saints, I don't know what Drew Brees is going to bring to the table. He hasn't been on the field in a while. You know, I think that Drew Brees is another one of those quarterbacks who's fallen off a lot. You know, as far as his ability to go out and win you a game. You know, but he might surprise me today. I mean, but I'm interested to see that game. But then after that, you got the Browns and Steelers, and first
That's
of all,
the game I wanna see.
first of all, that's a game that if you ask me, the NFL should be ashamed of themselves that they're even making the Browns play that game. Because of COVID, you got multiple players from the Browns out, huge players, and you even have their coach can't even be on the sidelines coaching. So again, here's the thing, and I was talking about it the other day. There is always a week in between the Super Bowl or the NFC and AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. There's always that week off.
Sure.
There is time to push games back because that week that they have is usually kept for social engagements, the parties, the all those the things that aren't going to be happening this year because of COVID. So the NFL to me really needs to look at themselves and examine themselves for making the Browns go out there and play today. So for me, I'm rooting hard for the Browns today. I want them to just basically spit in the face of the NFL and be like, you know what? We can go out there and win with who we have.
And you know what? It just the way it's kind of panning out. It just reminds me of like Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You just don't know, man. Like
No,
you know what
I
I'm
know,
saying?
but-
Like God, like
but
yo,
you know,
come
but
on.
you-
If I'm on the other side of it, I'm like, yo, yeah, let's play. Shit. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got half they do.
Okay, but
let's play.
I go back to, and again, it was the Steelers. And the Steelers are one of, the big NFL organizations. Everyone wants to see the Steelers on prime time. They pushed that game back to Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. When have you
Right.
ever seen a game played on Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock?
Well, it all goes. And I know we're gonna talk about this with the NBA, but like, there's just no.
There's no way around it. I know.
Well, there's not even that. There's no protocol or
Yes.
nothing in
place.
written.
and I know that we were talking about that too on
right,
some-
like of what determines whether we play or not. Like,
Right.
you know, and we'll talk about what
Yeah,
the
because because missing players is the same as injuries, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, right?
It is. I mean,
So-
like you could say. I mean, like if Ben Roethlisberger goes out on the first play of the game, it's that's not fair. We lost Ben Roethlisberger.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm like, yo,
But
listen,
in a situation like this where you saw, and I mean, I'm not saying that you could have done it, but the NFL almost could have done their own type of quarantine for the playoffs, and almost bubbled up
Like a
these
bubbled
teams.
up, yeah.
You know,
So,
and
yeah.
I just feel like again with the NFL, Adam Silver again is like the best commissioner of all in all sports. So he was able to, and he works with the players. Roger Goodell, who is so disconnected to the players anyway, and it's just
Right.
such a money league.
Right.
But I just think the NFL could have done better to make it a more level playing field to allow that because you got a Browns team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 18 years.
No, I get it, man.
And you know what also too, and really the NFL and
This is bothering me.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
well, listen, one of my buddies, Phil, who always watches the show too. Like, I have a little secret spot for the Browns because my buddy's such a diehard Browns fan. Like, I was talking to him last Sunday, and he was crying on the phone to me, like,
Oh,
the
man.
Browns were in the playoffs. Like,
That's what's
I
up,
get it.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. You
Yeah.
know. I like when Carson led the Eagles to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I remember.
See, here we go.
You brought it on
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, Carson
I've been
legend.
trying to protect you.
I know.
But you know what?
Bring it
Here
on.
we go.
I'm like that person in the room. But one more thing.
Right.
But no, but I mean, but that's the thing. But the thing is, I just think it was avoidable, and that's. I hope this Browns today can win. Let me get. I'm gonna go each game. Get your predictions, bro. Ravens and Titans. What's your prediction, Coach?
I got the Ravens beating the Titans. I think it's a good game. I think it's a not low scoring, but like 21-17, something like that.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lamar. But Lamar gotta show me something though. I'm gonna be honest with you. He gotta show me something in the playoffs.
Yeah, he did because you know what? Like, last year he was like, they didn't know everything.
It's
about
okay.
him and
It's
whatnot.
all right. I'm
This
just trying
year
to grow,
everyone's kind of
but
caught up with him a little bit.
I just want to see something. I'm gonna go with Lamar. I don't know the score or whatever, but I'm gonna go with Lamar.
Okay. I'm going Titans. I just think Derrick Henry is a beast,
He is.
and he just can't be stopped. Bears Saints.
I'm gonna go the Saints over the Bears. 24-17, something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Trubinsky. He's garbage, but I'm gonna rock with him. I'm gonna see what he could do.
You know who's the backup?
See, like you
I hate to say this, but you know who the backup is, and it's playoff time.
Come on, Philly. He got Meek Mills playing right now, son. Right now, Meek Mills is playing right now.
I'm just waiting.
Come on.
Jay, you going with Trubinsky and the Bears?
Trubinsky.
I'm
Let's
just
go.
waiting. I'm just waiting.
Nicky Magic, baby.
I'm waiting for Mitch to get hurt today. Nicky come down, and
Come on.
you're just going to see the social media in this area
That's
blow
right.
up. There it is.
That's right. Philly.
I'm rocking with the Bears too, though, for
You
that
can't
game.
even take the starting spot from
I know,
Trubisky.
but this is what's going to happen. This is the same thing that happened.
That's political, coach. Come on, he's political. Come on, man. He tried to, man, but listen, he got blacklisted from Philly because I mean, come on, he goes to a new team, he signs some money, but they're like, yo, and they might be like, wait a minute, hold up, what? How come you couldn't stay with Philly?
He's also
sucked
never
where?
In
everywhere.
Jacksonville. He was awful.
He's never been
Yeah,
successful
but their whole
outside.
team sucked.
outside-
What you want him to do?
So then he goes to Chicago,
Yes.
and then
Gets a
He
chance.
sucked.
He leads him a little bit, but
plays a game or two well.
and he got injured.
No, then sucks, then gets injured.
He got injured. I think.
He sucked, and then he got.
Then he got injured.
But
Yeah,
listen,
listen, man.
but listen,
Hey, listen, man. You know
So
what I mean?
the last game though,
All the time's catching up. Nicky been around for a minute too. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair enough.
So you know what I mean? Come
he,
on.
he has.
Come on.
I think
Fair
back to
enough.
27-2. Oh my goodness.
That's right. There you go.
But then what? That you know what Daniel means?
27-2.
Yeah.
Was he getting busy for the Eagles?
Okay. All right.
Come on,
Because
come on.
I know
You
sometimes you like
testing
to
me?
sometimes you like to
testing
support
me?
me in a mockery way.
No, not at all.
But with Browns and Steelers, who you got, coach?
I know my stuff.
I think the Steelers are going to run away with this one. I think, especially since they played the last game of the week, the last game of the season, the Browns beat them. I think the Steelers are going to run away with this.
Jay, what you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Browns.
Browns.
I'm going with the Browns. I know a lot of people that Steelers fans, and they're becoming slowly like Eagle fans. A little bit. Not as much, but I like Ben. I like Big Ben. I like
Just so
them.
you know, maybe your New York state of mind thing is what you do, but there is no the Steelers and the Eagles and that state of Pennsylvania, there is never a comparison to that.
Yeah, see, that's why
That
that's-
can
that's-
never
that's
be a
why- that's why
comparison.
you're not- you're not.
No,
Well, that's all right. Yeah,
because I will
get
never
you.
root for, like, no Philadelphia Eagle fan is going to say, well, Pittsburgh is in Pennsylvania. I'm going to root for the Steelers.
Right, man,
So-
that's okay. I mean, that happens. That's okay. It happens.
But no, I'm
going
like I
with the
said,
Browns, though.
like I said, I'm
Going with
rooting for the Browns too. I want to see them come out and
We're not talking about who we're rooting for. Who's going to win the game?
Right.
who's going to win the game? I'm going to go with Baker and the Browns.
Because if we talk about rooting for that, I want to be able to, when we come back next week, say I was 3-0. You guys are 4-3. I want to make
No,
sure.
I'm going to go with
That's
Baker.
okay.
I'm going to go Baker. I'm going to go Baker and the Browns.
Yep.
And I think that they're going to pull the upset. So, but it's been a fantastic first session. When we come back, we're going to have Coach Ware from the Pennsville High School team.
Ben's Grove.
Pennsville, my goodness, Penns Grove High School. And you'll listen to Let's Get It. We're also going to have a lot of Eagles talk, more Sixers talk. We'll be right back after this.